All right, folks, and today is Tuesday, December the 17th. Time for another Oscar update here. We do have a couple things to talk about here. Most notably, the shortlists are out for a few of the categories here, a few tech categories. The international and documentary feature categories have their shortlists out as well, so we'll talk about those a little bit. And also, we'll talk about WGA today announced a couple of films that won't be considered because of some guild regulations and who's in and who's out, stuff like that. So, so we'll go ahead and we'll start actually with the short lists here. And see, I'll pull that back up here. So we'll start with the visual effects category. This is always an interesting one to watch here to see, what films are, on their radar and which ones aren't and stuff for everything like that. So the 10 films that can be nominated for this award at the Oscars come to... it's actually, I think, is it a month from today? No, it's a month from the 15th or whatever it is. I forget. 20th... 13th? Well, one of those days. Whichever day the Oscars come out. I think it's the 13th anyways. The 10 films that can be nominated are Alita Battle Angel, Avengers Endgame, Captain Marvel, Cats, Gemini Man, The Irishman, The Lion King 1917, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, and Terminator Dark Fate. Now, I think I've had all these on the list here. Irishman is definitely on there, Lion King is on there, Star Wars is on there, Avengers, and I have Alita in that 5th spot. So yeah, nothing too, earth-shattering here for the exclusions. Personally, I would have liked to seen something like Ad Astra included. I do like the effects in that. Spider-Man's not on the list, but you have to go back to 2004. That one won for visual effects that year. That's been one of 2 superhero movies to win visual effects. So we'll see if Avengers can topple, the likes of Best Picture, likely nominee The Irishman, or if it gets in over The Lion King for the win at least. I think those 2 will easily be nominated. We'll see. Otherwise, maybe they go with something else that's close for the Best Picture category, like 1917. They could go Star Wars, for the win here, but otherwise I think the rest of them will kind of be happy to be nominated there. Another film that I noticed isn't on the list here is Ford v Ferrari, which did, has some visual effects to it, but it's not necessarily the heaviest effects film, so that one makes sense there. Okay, moving on to the makeup and hairstyling category. Here we have, I think it's 10, if I'm counting right. Yeah, 10 films that can be nominated are Bombshell, Dolomite Is My Name, Downton Abbey, Joker, Judy, Little Women, Maleficent 2, Mistress of Evil or whatever, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Rocketman. And between these 5, I think Bombshell is in regardless, Joker's in regardless, Rocketman I think gets in here, so that kind of leaves the 2 spots there. I think Dolomite might get it. Dolomite is one that's been popping up a little bit. It didn't do well at SAG, but still a couple of nominations of the Globes helps. I forget, is it in for any of the other shortlists? Well, yeah, we'll look at it later, I guess. But that's another thing too. You have to keep in mind when they announce these shortlists lately. It's like that is kind of a hint for these are the films that the just the overall Academy is really liking. So to see Joker show up, not in the visual effects category, which wasn't a big surprise or anything, but see Joker show up here, and in a couple other spots here, like score, it wasn't disqualified for score or anything, which, that would have been a shock there too, of course. Stuff like that. I think, that's a sign that, we should definitely keep that one in mind. 1917, as we expected, is popping up in all these. Probably this is the one category The Irishman didn't show up in. For the pre-list here. Actually, is it in for score? I was going to look at that too, because it's a couple places have nominated it for its score. Let's see. I don't think it is. Let's see, I've got the right one here, don't I? Music original score, yeah. Yep, it didn't make the list there, but most of its soundtrack is, songs, actually. There's a little bit of orchestral themes and stuff, but not as much. This one, I was a little surprised The Irishman wasn't in, but then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe all its makeup was actually more like, a little bit of makeup and then visual effects on top of it. We saw that, I guess I can say spoiler alert, for Avengers Endgame with a certain character at the end. It looks like it's all makeup, but it's actually visual effects and stuff, so... which, that for me, I kind of furthers the argument for why that one should be included for visual effects. If it is I don't know if it's all heavy makeup or not, but But yeah, regardless, yeah, that was one I thought would totally make the list, but then I didn't see it, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. I'm like, they love it everywhere else. I mean, it's in for the visual effects shortlist. If they were kind of leaning away from it a little bit, if it wasn't as popular, I'm going to move the mic a little closer, as we thought it would be, then I think that, that would be a telltale sign if it just misses all the shortlists and we're like, uh-oh, something's wrong here. But no, I think this one, I thought about it more, and I'm like, I think it's just, visual effects. We're probably more heavy than we thought for the old age makeup and stuff. Otherwise, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, yeah, that wasn't really going to be a contender for score for effects, but that one is in here. And I can see that one being included, potentially. Maybe. Yeah, I would think, again, the heavier bets are definitely Joker, Bombshell, and Rocket Man here. Judy, I can see Judy making the list here as well. I don't know. Downton Abbey, maybe, but I don't know. Haven't seen the film, so I don't know if there's any heavy makeup in that one or not. Again, they like to lean on heavier makeup here, even with now 5 nominees in this category this year for the first time, which is, long overdue. We'll see about Little Women, too. That one, again, having not seen it, it looks like that one's mainly just like the hairstyling and stuff, less so on the actual heavy makeup. So we'll think about that one as time goes on here. Let's see, going over to the music categories here for original song. Let's see, I think I can go through all these. We got 15 of them. Yeah, I'm counting 15 anyways. We've got Speechless from Aladdin, Letters to My Godfather from The Black Godfather, I'm Standing With You from Breakthrough, The Bronx from The Bronx, USA, Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, Stand Up from Harriet, Catchy Song from Lego Movie 2, Never Too Late from The Lion King, Spirit also from The Lion King, Daily Battles from Motherless Brooklyn, A Glass of Soju from Parasite, I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man, High Above the Water from Toni Morrison, The Pieces I Am, I believe that's a documentary, I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4, and Glasgow from Wild Rose. I guess maybe the only one that was a little questionable here for leaving out, what was it called? The Cats song, Taylor Swift, that got it at the Globes. That didn't make the shortlist here. And Cats did make the visual effects shortlist, so it's not like they haven't, they just don't love it or anything. It's like, there's some people that appreciate it. Let's see here. Actually, that comes out Friday. I've been at work all day. I don't know. Are reviews out on that yet? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm kind of checking Rotten Tomatoes here at the same time, see if anybody... I don't know. We don't have any reviews yet for Rise of Skywalker, but just reading some of the tweets late last night, I was like, oh shit. It's like, I look back, just really quick tangent here, it's like Last Jedi a couple of years ago, all the early tweets, everybody was like, it's awesome, it's one of the best yet, it's one of the best, it's the best of the new ones, and it comes out and it's like this, it's like a polar, dividing movie, it, polarizes the audience and stuff. And the early reactions here are like, some people are like, it wasn't for me. Yeah, it's fan service people. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that one goes here as it opens Friday. But anyways, regardless, let's get back to this one here. I think the only other one I kind of saw in there was one of the other Toy Story 4 songs from Randy Newman. It's like the Ballad of the Lonely Cowboy or something. That didn't make the list either. But I don't know. The rest of these, I think, from the ones I know, make sense and everything. Let's see. I was going to think too. Motherless Brooklyn. That did make the short list for musical score as well. That was nominated to the Globes for its score. So, yeah, seeing that one pop up here makes me think, okay, maybe that one is a bigger contender in those categories than we thought it was originally. I thought it was just going to get, after the mixed reception at Toronto or Telluride in Toronto, and the box office just didn't catch. I was like, man, that one's done, dead in the water. But it's like, I don't know. It's like you got that nomination at the Globes. Edward Norton is, pretty popular with the Academy. He's gotten a few nominations over the years, and stuff. I forget the musical composer for that. I didn't list it on the other one there. I'm going to look that up. They've probably been nominated before. That used to be kind of the old trick with those, is just you kind of look at who's doing stuff in the year, and it's like, okay, that's how you get it, Oh, here I see. Okay, it was Daniel Pemberton, who was that surprise nominee a few years ago at the Globes for Best Original Score for Steve Jobs. And, so they like him. Yeah, so he hasn't been nominated at the Oscars before. But this kind of reminds me a little bit, Suspiria got some love here on the short lists a couple years ago. It was in the short list for makeup and for song and for score. It didn't get anything, but It's like, I don't know if that's, like exactly what's going to happen with Motherless Brooklyn, but, because Suspiria for the most part, well, okay, that was pretty mixed. I was going to say, I personally liked it a lot, but that one was pretty mixed with critics, along the same lines as Motherless Brooklyn there, so I don't know. Might be the same fate there. Otherwise, what's it called? The Frozen 2 song, Into the Unknown, that'll get in for sure. Probably the Rocket Man song is going to get in. One of the songs from Lion King is probably a good bet. Stand Up from Harriet, I would say, definitely at this point. I'm Standing With You is Diane Warren. She'll sometimes get bypassed by the Globes, which they did this year. But she is almost always a nominee at the Oscars when she has a song out. So that one I would say definitely will qualify there. That one will definitely be one to watch out for. Then Glasgow from Wild Rose, sometimes they go for those. And then also High Above the Water from the, I believe it's documentary about Toni Morrison. That one, yeah, we do sometimes see the music crew there. Usually they do go for one of the documentary songs. So yeah, Toni Morrison one, that's not in the short list for the documentary. I believe it is a documentary. I haven't done the full research or anything, but yeah, so yeah, that one I would say, yeah, maybe is one to watch out for as well. Okay, for original score, the 15, I believe, again, that are making the list here are Avengers Endgame, Bombshell, The Farewell, Ford v Ferrari, Frozen 2, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, The King, Little Women, Marriage Story, Motherless Brooklyn, Pain and Glory, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, Us, and 1917. Which, yeah, 1917 is probably going to carry this category, I would think. As long as they know who they're voting for, as long as they know it's Thomas Newman, and as long as the film remains popular, I think that'll get the win there. Sorry, as I wipe my nose here. But Marriage Story seems pretty locked in right now. Joker is definitely locked in. Now, I don't know if I talked about The King. I did see that on Netflix. I'll tell you what, that movie, critics have been, again, relatively split. I think most of them like it, but not everybody. I liked it. I mean, not like loved it, but I liked a lot of it. The battle scenes were pretty cool. Chalamet is actually really great in the lead role. Robert Pattinson is kind of fun in his supporting role. Gosh, what else do I have to talk about that movie? It's like, there's a couple slow spots here and there. I liked his relationship with Joel Edgerton, the way that was kind of carried through and stuff. That was definitely a very good part of it. And then I actually like, most of the time with films like that, like we see it in the Marvel movies all the time, it's like as soon as the main climax is over and we get like these 5-10 minute scenes of just kind of wrapping up stuff, and it's like usually I'm like, those are the part in Marvel movies where it's like, yeah, it's cool to see them. Sometimes they're really great. Sometimes it's like, it's just a wrap up scene. But it's like The King kind of has like 20 minutes of that where it's like what happens after the final battle there. And weirdly enough, as much as I like the battle scenes and I like the overall story, it's like those last 20 minutes were almost the most interesting parts of the movie. It's like it was kind of a wrap-up. It was kind of a setting up, okay, this is what happens to King Henry later on, kind of, planting the seeds a little bit for, his relationship with Catherine and all that. But it's like, man, it's like that was the most interesting part, especially, I don't want to ruin it for those who haven't seen it, and I definitely recommend you see it if you haven't yet. The stuff with, is it Jared Harris? The guy from the Mission Impossible movie, the bad guy. He has a role in this. His stuff with Henry, again, in the last bit, really, really good. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend if you haven't seen that one yet. It's not, I wouldn't necessarily say it's best of the year material, but I thought, for a Netflix movie that really hasn't gotten any traction or anything this year, that's definitely one that should be watched. I really liked it. It's like an 8 out of 10 for me. It's not, again, not best of the year or anything, but it's a fun watch. Even at 2 hours and 15, 20 minutes, however long it is, it's like, it doesn't seem like that. It does go by pretty quick. So, anyways, do I think it has a shot here? No. It's just really getting passed up everything. Let's see. Otherwise, Avengers Endgame, I do like that score. I've liked that one and the Infinity War score really well from Alan Silvestri. So, yeah, that one, if Avengers really starts taking off and gets like, I don't know, like it pulls a Force Awakens a few years ago and gets like film editing and the visual effects and the sound categories and stuff, I can see score going along for the ride there. Let's see, now Bombshell, I was going to look this one up. That was, Theodore Shapiro, who's been kind of in and out of some possible nominated scores here in the last few years. I believe he has never been nominated, but let's see, he had, what did he have? There was something a while ago, but it was like, he was in contention for it, but now I can't find it. Because I'm looking at it, it's like Ghostbusters, the remake, and Zoolander 2 and stuff. I'm like, no, that wasn't it. What was it? I don't know. There was something. a while ago that I looked at, and I'm like, that was in contention that year, but now I can't find it. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, he's worked a lot with Jay Roach, the director of Bombshell, so that one makes sense for that. That one made the short list. So yeah, Bombshell hanging in there with a couple of those early births and stuff here in the shortlist categories and stuff. Otherwise, Ford v Ferrari is another one. Yeah, that makes sense. Frozen 2. The first Frozen didn't get in for score, so I'd be a little surprised if that one got in. JoJo, yeah, that makes sense. Little Women, I think, will easily be in contention here. Us, I love seeing that on here. That's awesome. It didn't make the shortlist for its makeup or anything. I didn't expect it would, but that's awesome. That's one of the best scores of the year. I love that one. And of course, yeah, Skywalker makes total sense since it's John Williams there. Okay, just the feature categories left here. For doc feature, the potential nominees, again, they've got it down to 15 here, are Advocate, American Factory, The Apollo 11, that'll be confusing, Aquilera, The Biggest Little Farm, The Cave, The Edge of Democracy, For Sama, The Great Hack, Honeyland, Knock Down the House, Maiden, Midnight Family, and One Child Nation. Let's see, as far as the stuff that's shown up early for like Gotham and stuff, American Factory, definitely, Apollo 11, definitely, One Child Nation, definitely. I think Midnight Family's been one that's been bandied about quite a bit, so that one I think will probably have some room here. The Cave, that, they like those short titles. That one sounds, I don't know, that just from hearing about it, that kind of sounds like one they might just blind vote for. But then again, most of the time this is nominated by documentary. It's everybody in the branch, no doubt, but it's like, I don't know, sometimes they kind of nominate stuff that has short titles and kind of leaves an impact. Something like Edge of Democracy, especially with an impeachment pending and stuff, we'll see, if that one plays into the politics and stuff. Sometimes they do go for that. Let's see here. Otherwise, Honeyland, I've heard some people talk about, so that's definitely in contention as well. Yeah, but as far as the win, I think it's Apollo 11, American Factory, One Child Nation kind of duking it out there, but, yep. Okay, then the 10 films we have down for foreign language feature are The Painted Bird from the Czech Republic, Truth and Justice from Estonia, Les Miserables from France, not the Tom Hooper film, Those Who Remained from Hungary, Honeyland from North Macedonia, Corpus Christi from Poland, Beanpole from Russia, Atlantics from Senegal, Parasite, of course, from South Korea, and Pain and Glory from Spain. Now, I was going to look this up because... I was going to look up... this one here. Portugal. Yeah, I was going to see. Okay, yeah, they didn't make the list this year either. Okay, because I put in, for my Cultured Vultures article for the Globes, I put in the Portugal entry this year because it's like Portugal has 34 submissions. Now, that might be 35 this year now, and they've never been nominated. It looks like they're going to get passed up again this year. So I was like, I saw that one for Those Who Remain. I'm like, wait, was that it? But no, that was Hungary. Okay. Let's see here. Otherwise, in this category, Italy is usually a hot spot here, and they didn't make the list, so that's a sign they're doing something different. Let's see. France, yeah, that's expected. They almost always get a nominee in there. Let's see here. Israel, I'm just kind of looking up some other facts here. They have 10 nominations in the past without a win. They didn't make the short list this year. Let's see here. Otherwise, a couple films we've kind of mentioned on and off here are Monos from, I believe it was Colombia. That one didn't make the list. There was one everybody was talking about that I hadn't heard much yet, and it's like that one didn't make the short list. I can't remember which one it is now. Look up one of my other videos there, and it was one I talked about, I'm sure. But yeah, actually, hang on, I can look this up here. Just pull up one of my earlier articles. This is going to bug me until I find it here. Let's see. It's on here somewhere. Here we go. Now I just got to find the foreign language stuff here. Let's see. I put it in for possible predictions for the Globes here, so I'll find it. Let's see here. Outstealing Horses, that's the one. That is not on here. A lot of people thought that one was a sure bet here. Let's see here. Otherwise, let's see. I put the Whistlers in there, and then Queen of Hearts. Neither of those are on the list here. So, and then, yeah, pretty much, yeah, the rest, yeah, more or less the rest of these were somewhat expected. I haven't heard anybody cry like, wow, that's a big surprise here. At least none that I've heard from here. Now, Honeyland, that's in for doc feature and for foreign language. So sometimes if they overlap, that's a good sign. It's getting into at least one category there. Yeah, Atlantics I've heard a lot about, so again, that's one I would watch and keep an eye out here for. Otherwise, Parasite, Pain and Glory, Les Mis are the three that are really going to run this category, with Parasite probably being the easy winner here. Okay, let's see. So that's going to do it for the short list there. Now we'll talk a little bit about WGA and their mysterious ways. There's always a couple of scripts that they leave off every year, and it's due to some of their guidelines. The fact, a couple of the popular writers are not included in the guild, so therefore they don't qualify. It's shit like that. But anyways, a couple of high-profile ones to mention here are probably arguably the two high-profile ones are Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino, who is not part of the guild, so he's never included, and Lulu Wang's script for The Farewell. Both of those are not going to be eligible for WGA. And again, for Lulu Wang, I'm not sure if hers is also one that is out because of the guideline, she's not part of it, or if that's, something else with it. Pain and Glory is another one that's competing in original. That one will not be eligible at WGA. I believe Peanut Butter Falcon is also in the original screenplay category this year. I believe so. And that one will not be eligible here at WGA. Let's see, are they going adapted? Hang on, I was looking through the list here. Huh. Yeah, I don't see it in actually either list, so okay. Let's see, I was just looking up see where, yeah, I kind of as a cheat here, I have the Gold Derby stuff up, so I see my predictions and kind of some of the other talked about ones. So yeah, those are, yeah, I believe Peanut Butter Falcon's in the original category. That one has also been X'd here. Let's see here. I believe Waves is running an original. That one is also nixed here. Midsummer is not going to be eligible. Last Black Man in San Francisco. That one might be adapted, actually. Nope, that's original. Yep, that one is X'd out here too. Yep, so that's really it for the original fare there. So yeah, that's a couple of those always fail to make the short list. So that, Marriage Story now is very safe for nomination. Parasite, Knives Out, I would say probably gets in. Bombshell, depending on how well it does across the other guilds and stuff, I think that one will get in. And then that leaves either 1917, again, popularity of the guilds will determine that. Booksmart, maybe Dolomite Is My Name, possibly Ford v Ferrari, maybe Uncut Gems, So there's a lot of possibilities in that original screenplay category at WGA now that a couple of those are gone there. Over on the adapted side, nothing really that's forefront that's been X'd out here from WGA. Judy, Downton Abbey, and Toy Story 4, I believe animated films are ineligible for WGA, so Toy Story 4 is going to have to really rely on its Oscar traction there. The only other news here is occasionally we do get a couple of films, maybe one or two, like Moonlight a few years ago, that is kind of gets a late ruling at the Oscars on whether or not it's adapted or original. Sometimes, especially if it's based on a play, or later surfaces that it was based on a play. If it's been performed, I believe that's the rule, then it gets put over in the adapted category. If not, then I think it's left in original. But I don't know. Again, there's kind of some contradictions there. A couple years, something comes out, and then later on we find out, oh, it was miscategorized. I can't even remember an example right now, but that's been known to kind of circle and stuff. Let's see, The Two Popes is really about the only one here. I guess it's ruled as adapted right now at the Oscars, but it's going to contend in original at WGA. So it is Anthony McCartan. They do like him a lot. So that's another, that's another one for the fire, so to speak, for the original screenplay category. So yeah, a lot of competition on that side. Otherwise, stuff like Jojo Rabbit, The Irishman, Little Women, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Joker, Richard Jewell, Just Mercy, Hustlers. Actually, Hustlers, I thought I saw that one's over in original too here, actually. Yes, was reclassified as original. Yeah, so that one's actually not going to be adapted. My bad. Yeah, so Hustlers is also over in the original category, even though that's based around a New York Times or New York Magazine article. That's right. Yeah, that's weird because it's a fictionalized account. Like all the characters and stuff are not real to the best of our knowledge and stuff. But it's like the whole story, the whole gist of it is based on stuff that's happened. So it's I guess they're at the Academy ruling it adapted, or at least that's what Lionsgate not Lionsgate, STX is doing for the Oscars there. So it's contending in the original category there at WGA as well. So yeah, that really leaves, I mean, pretty much the 5 I have in for adapted right now are Two Popes, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, and The Irishman. Other than Two Popes, it's like that kind of opens up a spot for Joker or Just Mercy or Richard Jewell, depending on, again, how the guilds go there. Otherwise, we could see, speaking of Motherless Brooklyn, that did pretty well with some of the shortlists there. I don't know, if that one really does start to take off, something like that could land at WGA and totally surprise us, so might as well mention that. Otherwise, that'll probably be a solid 5 of Irishman, Jojo, Little Women, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and Joker. I mean, I would honestly be shocked if anything else was there that's like not an obvious, one that we mentioned there, or even something like a long shot like Motherless Brooklyn or something like that. So, but WGA nominations are out sooner rather than later. January 6th. Yeah, so that's in a couple weeks here. We've got between now and then to kind of figure that out. Otherwise that's it for the short list. Now, I haven't gotten around. I didn't get to down to see any new movies or anything this last weekend. Definitely I will catch up. I have to see Rise of Skywalker on Friday. I'll see it pretty much probably by itself. I won't go to anything else there. Then probably, this weekend I'll get around to seeing as much as I can. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of the movies like that I do want to see really bad, and I didn't get a chance to because I had family home and stuff this last weekend. But like Queen and Slim, I really think that's going to be a great film. I'm really looking forward to it. It is playing. I just haven't seen it yet. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I'm less stoked about that one, but I feel like I need to see it, and it's high up there on the tomato meter, so I'm sure it's a good movie. Richard Jewell, yep, that one's out. And the more I hear about it, obviously a lot of the stuff with the criticism and the now the big controversy around its portrayal of the Olivia Wilde character, that I think almost pumps up the volume a little bit for that one to kind of get a little bit of some late play here later on in the awards race. And you could argue that also shines a little bit of light on Olivia Wilde's film Booksmart. So if Hollywood and everybody kind of rallies around her and her side of the argument, which I've kind of, not to get into it, I haven't really looked into either side of who's saying what, but I guess there's something about the film almost tried to kind of sexualize her character when she really wasn't, or she really was sexualized in real life and she wasn't in the film. It was something like that. I haven't checked out the full details yet. I felt after I kind of read a couple of headlines and stuff, I'm like, I'm just going to watch the movie first and then come back. I don't want to go in with any, prejudgmental, stuff on, how did they get this woman character right and stuff. It's like, I don't know, let me watch the film first, then I'll come back and I'll say, okay, that was bullshit the way the film did it, or I'll say, these people are just full of it. I'll figure it out as we, I don't know, like I said, I want to see the film first. And then, what's the other one? There was one other one that's out that I wanted to see that I was planning on, but I didn't get to it. Which one was it? Shit. I don't know. Anyways, it was, I don't know. Here, I can try to pull it up here. Just kind of see what was playing. It wasn't Frozen 2. Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know. Dark Waters. Yeah, I wanted to see Dark Waters. I do like that trailer. It's it gets a little, it's a little pumped up by the end with like the trying to turn the key and the blah, the Hans Zimmer blah that kind of play. It's like, come on, it's a thriller, yes, but you don't need to overcharge. This isn't the Pelican Brief here. Come on, guys. Which I just read that book and I watched the movie on Netflix. Boy, that movie sucks. But yeah. Anyway, so, I do want to see those. I didn't get to them, but, I'll kind of see as many as I can on Sunday here, because I know Bombshell's out this weekend. Cats, I will have to see because it's in the Oscar race. Fuck me. But I'm not looking forward to it, but I'll see it. Anyway, so I don't know if I can see 7 movies in one day or anything, but, I'll try to catch that, and then we can catch up with some more reviews and stuff at a later time. I've kind of looked at, now that we have the short list out, I've kind of updated a couple of Oscar categories here and there, kind of seeing the popularity of the a few of the guilds that have come out and stuff. We can talk about those another time and kind of how they kind of change my Oscar predictions around a little bit. So we'll get to that. If not necessarily later this week, definitely sometime next week, as we'll probably have some downtime as we go into the Christmas holiday there. And then after that, we're really into the final stretch, because we'll have the Golden Globes out. We'll have BAFTA nominations pretty early there in January, as we mentioned, the WGAs. Their nominees will be out here in early January, so it's going to heat up again here. And then in the coming weeks, we get a little bit of downtime here before we get into Christmas and the other holidays and stuff, and New Year's and all that. So yeah, we'll catch you guys either on this side or the other side of Christmas and stuff, and we'll have more updates as they come along as time moves along.